chilly. I woke up in the middle. I woke up in the middle of the night today, around 4 or 5 a.m. It was after a long night, a long day of walking and hiking through a monastery in the mountains called Montserrat. Anyways, I woke up thinking about death and feeling about, feeling like I was dying. And the image that popped up was something pierced my gut and I was bleeding out, and I could just do nothing but just watch blood spill out of my belly and die. I was thinking about how I couldn't contact anyone at that point in time. I could just kind of send my last wishes out, maybe a last word, but I couldn't tell anyone that this is it, that I'm not coming back. No one's going to take care of my worm farm, or who's going to take care of selling all my photography stuff, or who's going to take care of all my furniture and all that stuff. Yeah, just other thoughts of the logistics about dying. I'm riffing right now. Nothing's really prepped or planned. These are just lingering feelings from waking up in the middle of the night, thinking about dying. I thought about and felt everything ending, like just no more me. The thing that I'm experiencing right now, gone, just erased completely. And a feeling of dread, of existential dread and fear came over me while I was lying there trying to fall back asleep. Maybe some motivation too, like, oh, I should really make something with my life then. I should really get shit done. I should really do something. I put those thoughts and feelings aside and went back to the erasure of what I know is me. What is that? And why is there so much fear and existential dread attached to it? I think it's pretty reasonable and it makes a lot of sense why there'd be a lot of negative feelings attached to what I experience as me being obliterated. What else would I have? Who else would I be? What's gonna remain? You know, what about all my stuff, all the things I've accomplished? Gone. I'm sitting on a rooftop Airbnb on the outskirts of Barcelona right now, in Badalona. There's the town or city. I am at the tail end of my month in Europe, and my initial intentions for the trip was to discover or experience what European working culture or lifestyle is like, what good public transportation is like. It's pretty good here. What another culture, another atmosphere, another vibe is like, and what the food quality is like in Europe. It's pretty good. Better than North America. Fresher produce, especially France. France has really good produce. Italy's food, crazy good. Highly recommend. And Europe would be a pretty cool place to live. I wouldn't be mad about moving here or staying longer. But ultimately, I don't know if it's apathy. It just feels like I don't really care where I go. Well, there is some cares, you know. I'm not gonna move to Gaza. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna move to Yemen or like Liberia. But wherever I personally choose to move, I won't. It's hard to put into words right now. I haven't really refined these thoughts. And I'm just kind of going off stream of consciousness. But what I can say right now, it feels like it doesn't make much of a difference wherever I move. Wherever I go, it's just going to be a new set of sensations. Sure, there's going to be a much different catalog of opportunities that are going to be available to me. Given like wherever I go, maybe there's a stronger arts community in a certain city, or I can learn a new language, which can unlock different parts of my brain and new parts of my perception and new ways I can see the world. Yeah, that's all really cool. But as I'm traveling, maybe I'm just disenfranchised and disillusioned with traveling. We're going from place to place. You know, it feels like I was traveling with intention, but now it feels like whatever I seek to get, or any fulfillment I seek to get from traveling, it's just never gonna happen. Like, there's no fulfillment to get from traveling. Doesn't mean I'm gonna stop traveling. I'm still gonna keep traveling. But if I'm looking for something that's like, oh, you know, I really gotta travel, or I just, I don't know what's gonna, I'll be incomplete. I just can't do it. I'll be sad. I'll be really unhappy. I just feel like if I'm looking for any fulfillment in the act of traveling or in seeing new places, I'm never gonna find it. Yeah. And I think that transfers to a lot of activities in life. If I don't do this, if I don't get this, if I don't have this person in my life, then I'm fucked. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna be a mess. Yeah, I think it'll suck for a moment, but there's nothing lacking from my person in the first place. I went on a tangent about traveling. Well, pertinent because I'm at the end of my travels. I don't even feel homesick. I feel like I can go home at any moment and I'll be good to go. Like, I'll be back in Ottawa, unless I die on the plane ride or die in some tragic accident here. I'll be back home in Ottawa, skating on the canal and just doing my thing and just making more of these stream of consciousness videos. Or, you know, there could be a new plague, a new pandemic, and then I'll be grounded in Barcelona for an unknown amount of time, and that's okay too. So it can go either way. I feel open and indifferent. Not even indifferent. I feel equanimous. I feel at peace. I feel unmoved by whatever outcome is going to happen. Because there were some things I wanted to do during this trip. Some things didn't end up happening. It kind of sucked. You know, I wanted to see the sculpture museum in Naples. Didn't happen. But it's still like, oh well. Any new place I go to, it's once again, it's a new set of new sensations, and to see any fulfillment in like brand new or a different set of sense pleasures, it's foolish. It's not gonna happen. Going back to the topic of death, and to wrap it out, and to mix it in with travel, there was this moment where I like viscerally felt, like really, really, one of the deepest parts, one of the deepest moments I felt okay with dying right then and there. It was, I was on a road trip with Glorbs, and we were at a sugar shack. For those of you who don't know what a sugar shack is, it's a French-Canadian tradition. I haven't read too much into it, but my interpretation is, so in the early spring, when it's still nice and snowy out, all the French Canadians, they gather maple syrup, maple sap, and then they make maple syrup from boiling the sap from these trees. And once that's all finished, they have a bunch of maple syrup and they make maple candy and all these other goodies. And then they have a big feast at the end of the winter. Once spring starts to hit and they got all this maple yummies, they have a big feast of these different foods that they have accumulated, like pea soup is one of my favorites, with pig ears, like crunchy pig ears in it. What else do they have? Other stuff. But the pea soup is the one that stood out the most. Anyways, my speculation on why this event happens is because the people of the East Coast and the French Canadians and Acadians and whatever cultures are out there in the east of Canada, they're celebrating not dying during the winter. They're celebrating not starving or freezing to death and surviving another season. So they get around and they have a big feast and they play music together and they dance and they jig and they celebrate life. And while I was at this event of a Sugar Shack, the live music's playing. I'm enjoying my pea soup and my crunchy pig ears and maple syrup and whatever else. I just felt in the atmosphere like, oh, this is I could die right now, and it could be all okay. And I don't know if it was the setting that contributed to that, but there was just like a deep sense of satisfaction that came with it. I don't know what it was, like a sense of completeness. But I feel like that was an underdeveloped, immature, incomplete sense of completeness, because I think that was still context dependent. I think that was still very dependent on the place I was at. Can that sense be present even when I'm like working a 9-to-5 job or cleaning toilets or like walking down a 6-lane intersection in a North American city, just breathing in car exhaust? I'm just naming things that I I dislike. Actually, I actually like cleaning toilets, so let's remove that one out. I like how shiny I can get something. Same with washing dishes. Something about shiny porcelain really gets really gets me going. So that sense of completeness, can that happen regardless of my external situation, regardless of I'm at some skirting death festival of the French Canadians, or in a totally undesired circumstance that I found myself in? I don't know. I'll explore that. I can actively put myself in these situations. I know, I think some sects of Buddhists, they meditate on corpses to get real cozy with the reality of death. So maybe I can put myself in those situations and be complete with those. That's a future video. So the question is, why is it that in each moment, regardless of the external circumstance, I'm not okay with myself being erased? I've been on the Barcelona metro a lot. There's a lot of traveling by subway, and the public transportation here is really good. And over my travels, European cities, the big ones at least, there is just so many stores. I don't know if Barcelona is a touristy city. I don't know if Toulouse is a touristy city. I didn't think it was. I don't know if Napoli is a touristy city. But holy shit, there is just stores everywhere. So many brand names, so many different fashion stuff. Maybe fashion is a big thing in Europe. I wouldn't know. I'm wearing thrifted shit right now. But yeah, there's so many distractions, so many flashy lights and yummy foods, and so many ways to titillate the human sense to distract oneself from the reality that this is all, it's gonna end. This is all going to end. It's gonna be wiped away completely. There is an expiration date on all of this. And I don't know I don't know who else is thinking about death as often as I do, or even think, or even tries to experience that this is all going to end completely. We're so we I'm still wrapped up in the story of me. What do I want to do after my retirement? Oh, okay, I'm all done my army job. What do I want to do now? Well, what else will make me happy? How else can I earn a living? A lot of survival stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in the end, none of it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying that in a nihilistic sense or like a depressive emo sense. It that is the truth. None of this it doesn't matter. There's no meaning to to any of this. I want to talk more of that in a future video too. That there is ultimately and truthfully there is no meaning to life at all. None. And there's no good or bad in that. That is just what is true. There is no meaning to any of this whatsoever. Whatever is here is period. That whatever is here is. That's it. There's any meaning attributed to it is just an extra add-on, and there's nothing bad about that or nothing good about that either. Because good or bad is just more meaning attributed to it. So today I woke up in the middle of the night feeling like I was dying and really diving deep into the death of this character that I call me and that I experience as me. Because even when I talk about it and when it was happening, I felt fear and existential dread during that time. There's still something I'm hanging on to. There's still something that there's still something that some hang-ups there, something to be looked at, and I'm not sure what it is. None of this matters, so do your best and try your best to be nice to other people. Why live a life that is ineffective, weak, and sad when you can live a life that is powerful, effective, and happy? How to do that? I don't know. Let's explore that later. Today, we are going to go to the spa. I don't know if my GoPro is allowed in there, but I am making it known that we are going to the spa and gonna have a chill day in some hot baths. So, yeah, let's enjoy it. Even though it is just another set of very temporary, yummy, sensual experiences that will end. So, enjoy every bit. Be happy with it. Be happy with what you have now and what's to come. Bye. Thank you.